orbital research station hung silently above the crimson surface of the planet Dravik 9, like a jewel in the void. Its metal hull gleamed under the light of a distant sun, reflecting the chaos below. Commander Ralix, a tall Zirathi with silver scales and piercing amber eyes, leaned over the observation deck. Her gaze was fixed on the chaos unfolding in the canyon below. The Zirathi had long regarded humans as fragile, primitive creatures. Their tools were simple, their bodies weak, and their natural instincts unpredictable. Most of their colonies had been easy to control. Yet today, Ralix's holofeed displayed something that made her pulse quicken in a way she had never felt. A human, a single unarmed human, was fending off an entire squad of Dravik raiders. Cade, as he would later be known, moved with a mix of grace and fury, each step precise, each strike calculated. The raiders, armed with energy blades and plasma rifles, seemed confident. They underestimated him, and they were about to pay for it. Ralix's eyes narrowed. She had seen combat before. She had studied thousands of species and their fighting methods. But what she saw in Cade was something entirely new: raw instinct, unpredictable strategy, and a fearless will to survive. He ducked a swinging plasma blade, rolled under another raider, and with a simple pivot, sent 3 of them tumbling into the canyon's sharp cliffs. The remaining raiders paused, glancing at one another. Cade's movements were chaotic to them, impossible to anticipate, yet each strike hit with deadly accuracy. Ralix leaned closer to the holofeed, whispering almost to herself, "That warrior should be mine to keep." She did not fully understand why. Perhaps it was fascination, perhaps it was admiration, or perhaps it was the instinct of a seasoned warrior recognizing another warrior, one who could not be tamed, yet demanded attention. Below, the canyon erupted into sparks and smoke. One raider tried to flank Cade, charging from the high ground. Without hesitation, Cade leaped, twisting in midair to grab a jagged rock. He slammed it into the raider's chest with enough force to send him flying backward. Ralix's tail flicked in agitation. She had not expected this. Humans were supposed to hide, to flee, to die in overwhelming numbers, but Cade was proving every assumption wrong. She found herself captivated, unable to look away. "Why does he fight like this?" Ralix murmured. "No weapon, no armor, and yet he does not hesitate. He is alive in a way few species are." In the observation room behind her, her aides glanced nervously. "Commander, should we intervene? These humans are not well controlled," one muttered. Ralix waved them off. "Do not touch him. Let me watch." Her gaze never left Cade. Each moment revealed more: his uncanny ability to anticipate attacks, his clever use of the environment, and his refusal to back down even when outnumbered. Meanwhile, on the canyon floor, Cade's focus never wavered. Sweat dripped from his brow and dirt smeared his face, but he moved like a predator in tune with the land. A raider tried to strike from behind. Cade felt the movement before he saw it, ducked, and countered with a punch to the raider's jaw that sent him sprawling. Another raider fired a plasma gun. Cade rolled behind a boulder, narrowly avoiding the blast, then used a piece of fallen metal to knock the weapon from the raider's hand. With no weapon, no armor, no reinforcements, he was still unstoppable. Ralix could not contain her excitement. Her mind raced with possibilities. Humans could be trained, enhanced, studied, but more than that, she wondered if Cade was more than a simple specimen. He was a force. A living, breathing weapon forged not by technology, but by sheer will and instinct. The canyon fight reached its climax when the remaining raiders attempted a final ambush. They circled Cade, blades raised, ready to strike simultaneously. But Cade's eyes were sharp, his mind faster than theirs. He spun, ducked, and struck in a flurry of movement so fast the raiders barely had time to react. Within moments the ambush had collapsed. Only Cade stood, breathing heavily, victorious yet unscathed. Ralix leaned back, astonished. She had watched countless species fight, She had trained warriors for decades, but she had never seen anything like this. "He is perfect," she whispered. "No weapon, no fear, just pure instinct. He should be mine." Back on the canyon floor, Cade scanned the area. His senses were alive, alert to every sound, every shadow. He had faced death before and he had survived. But the realization that someone or something was watching him made his stomach tighten. He looked up at the sky, sensing the presence without seeing it. Rallick studied him from above, noting every detail. The tension in his muscles, the way he assessed threats, the speed of his reactions. She felt an unfamiliar pull toward him, a combination of respect, fascination, and curiosity. For the next hour, she observed as Cade helped survivors of the Raider attack. Though exhausted and injured, he moved among the wounded, assessing injuries, pulling the weak to safety, and inspiring courage in others through sheer example. This was not the behavior of a simple fighter. This was a leader, a protector, and a symbol of human resilience. Rallick's tail twitched with anticipation. She had to see more. She needed to understand this human up close. She sent a quiet command to her aides: "Prepare for extraction. We will bring him aboard, not as a prisoner, but as a subject of observation." And perhaps as something more. The aides hesitated. "Commander, this could be dangerous. Humans are unpredictable. He could fight back." Rallick smiled, a sharp glint in her amber eyes. "That is exactly why we need him. Observe him, yes, but do not underestimate him. And keep the extraction discreet. He must not suspect until it is too late." Hours later, as night fell over Dravik 9, Cade made camp in a rocky alcove. He cleaned his wounds and rested, unaware that an alien craft silently hovered above him. Its presence was undetectable to his senses, yet every instinct in his body hummed with awareness. Rallick watched from the cockpit, fascinated. "He is remarkable," she said softly. "No technology, no army, and yet he survives. Humans are extraordinary." In the quiet of space, she felt a thrill she had never experienced. The Zerathi had always believed themselves the apex species, superior in every way. Yet before her eyes, a human shattered that assumption. A single warrior, unarmed, had bested dozens of trained raiders. And in that moment, Rallick understood something profound. Humans were unpredictable, dangerous, and brilliant. Her lips curved into a smile. "I will study him," she whispered. "I will understand him, and perhaps he will change everything we know about this galaxy." Below, Cade slept fitfully, dreams haunted by the raiders and the strange feeling of being watched. Somewhere above him, a silver-scaled alien studied every heartbeat, every breath, every twitch of muscle. One thing was clear: this encounter was only the beginning. And as the stars twinkled above, Commander Rallick thought one last thing before retreating to her private quarters. "That warrior should be mine." Inside, Commander Rallick paced her private chamber, tail flicking in quiet agitation. Cade had survived everything the planet threw at him: raiders, wild terrain, hunger, and exhaustion. Yet he remained alive, alert, unbroken. Her aides watched nervously. "Commander, are you sure we should interfere? He is remarkable, yes, but humans are unpredictable. We may not control him," one said. Rallick stopped pacing. Her amber eyes burned with intensity. "I am not interested in controlling him," she said sharply. "I want to study him. To understand him. He is unlike any species we have encountered. His instincts, his unarmed fury, it is a weapon the likes of which the galaxy has never seen." The aides exchanged uncertain glances. "And what if he resists?" another asked. Rallick's lips curled into a small smile. "Then we observe, and learn, and adapt." Below, Cade moved cautiously through the rocky valleys of Dravik 9. He had been surviving alone for days, alert to every shadow, every sound. The feeling of being watched was constant now, and it unnerved him. His instincts screamed danger, yet no threat had appeared. Still, he trusted his gut. Humans had survived for thousands of years by trusting instincts like these. Suddenly, A flash of light streaked across the sky, followed by a low hum. Cade dove behind a boulder just as a beam of energy seared past. He rolled, narrowly avoiding another strike. The humans around him had seen alien crafts before, but they rarely attacked with such precision. Cade's eyes narrowed. This was no raider. This was something else. A transport pod hovered silently above him, and before he could react further, a tractor beam enveloped him. The ground disappeared beneath his feet, and in a moment of instinct, Cade grabbed onto a rock ledge, trying to resist. But the beam's strength was inescapable. With a grunt, he was lifted into the ship, the ground falling away beneath him. Inside the research station, Cade landed on the cold, metallic floor with a hard thud. He scrambled to his feet, scanning his surroundings. The chamber was large, circular, with smooth walls and soft lighting. He was surrounded by Zerathi, tall and silver-scaled, watching him with unreadable expressions. Ralix stepped forward. "You are awake," she said, her voice calm but commanding. Her amber eyes studied every twitch of his muscles, every reaction in his posture. "Do not be afraid. You are here for observation, nothing more." Cade's fists clenched instinctively. "Observation? I didn't do anything to you," he said, his voice steady despite his anger. "I survived, that's all." Ralix inclined her head slightly. "And yet your survival is fascinating. Most species would have fallen in moments, but you," she paused, studying him carefully, "you are different. Your instincts, your courage, your ability to fight without weapons, it is extraordinary." Cade's eyes narrowed. "You mean I'm a lab experiment?" Ralix shook her head. "No, you are a subject of study, to understand what makes humans so unpredictable. Perhaps even superior in certain ways." Days passed as Ralix observed Cade in controlled tests. The station had created a training arena, a vast chamber filled with obstacles, traps, and simulated opponents. Cade faced holographic attackers, robotic drones, and environmental hazards. Every test was designed to push him to his limits, yet Cade excelled. He ducked under swinging blades, rolled past crushing walls, and disarmed robotic opponents with nothing but his body and instincts. Every move was fluid, a combination of reaction, intuition, and raw physical skill. Ralix watched, fascinated. "He adapts faster than any species we have studied," one aide said, astonished. Ralix nodded, eyes glued to Cade. "Not just adapts," she replied softly. "He anticipates. Humans are unpredictable. They think in ways no other species can. That is why he survives." Cade, despite exhaustion, smiled faintly after each challenge. "Is this supposed to scare me?" he muttered. He had faced raiders, wild beasts, and harsh environments. This was different, controlled, predictable, but still a challenge. And humans thrived on challenges. Ralix decided to test him further. She introduced another human into the arena, a young scout named Lyra. The scenario: a simulated ambush, 2 humans against multiple Zeratha-trained drones. Cade's eyes scanned the arena. He quickly assessed the terrain, pillars, ledges, and cover. Without hesitation, he positioned Lyra behind a boulder and prepared for attack. The drones lunged with speed and precision, but Cade was faster. He rolled under a sweeping mechanical arm, struck the drone's control panel with a hard fist, and disabled it. The other drones attacked simultaneously, but Cade's reactions were flawless. Every move anticipated the drone's actions. Lyra, following his lead, moved with him as a team. Together, they overcame the simulation with minimal effort. Ralix leaned back, tail curling with excitement. "Observe," she said to her aides. "This is human instinct. Raw, fearless, unarmed. This is what makes them extraordinary. They survive and they lead." That night, Ralix reflected in her private quarters. She had broken dozens of species before, trained hundreds to obedience. But Cade, he resisted not through defiance, but through skill, courage, and adaptability. There was a fire within him, a primal instinct she could neither predict nor control. She could not help but admire him. Her thoughts returned again and again to his movements, his decisions, his courage. "He is not a simple human," she whispered. "He is something else entirely, a warrior, perhaps a key to understanding human potential." Meanwhile, Cade lay on a cot in the observation ward, quietly studying his captors. He did not speak to them, did not plead. Humans survived by understanding threats, by learning quickly, and by never showing weakness. He was determined to find a way out, but he was also learning. He watched the Zerathi closely, noticing their patterns, their reactions, their weaknesses. For Cade, every day was a trial. For Ralix, every day was a revelation. The real test came when Ralix decided to pit Cade against the best Zerathi combatants the station could produce. These warriors were tall, muscular, trained from birth in martial arts, strategy, and discipline. No species had ever matched them in raw combat. Yet when the match began, Cade moved like a storm. He dodged, struck, and countered with speed and precision that left even the Zerathi watchers astonished. His unarmed fury, his natural instinct to fight, overcame technology, experience, and superior size. Ralix felt her chest tighten. This was the moment she had been waiting for, the moment when she could see humanity's true power laid bare. And it was even more impressive than she had imagined. The combat ended not with death, but with victory through ingenuity. Cade disarmed, disabled, and outmaneuvered every opponent without a single weapon. The Zerathi had underestimated him, and now they were forced to respect him. Afterward, Ralix approached him, her expression unreadable. "You are remarkable," she said quietly. "I have never seen a species with such instinct, such courage, such adaptability." Cade wiped sweat from his brow. "Thanks," he said cautiously, "but I'm not done, you'll see." Ralix's amber eyes glimmered. "No, I will see, and I will learn humans are dangerous. Not because of weapons, but because of what they are. You survive where others would fall. You lead when others would panic. You fight when others would flee." For the first time, Cade felt a flicker of understanding. The Zerathi were not just captors, they were observers. And in this observation, he saw opportunity. Humans had always thrived in impossible situations, and this was no different. As the night deepened on the station, Cade lay awake, muscles sore but mind sharp. He planned, observed, and learned. Humans had always turned weakness into strength. This time would be no different. And high above, in her observation room, Ralix watched him, fascinated and obsessed. She knew the next step would be critical, testing him against her species in a real confrontation. The trial was far from over, and the galaxy itself might never be the same. One thought echoed in her mind: this human is not just a fighter, he is something greater, and I must understand him before anyone else does. The arena was massive, circular, and glowing with pale white light. Its walls were lined with observation panels, and the floor was scattered with obstacles designed to challenge even the most skilled fighter. At the far end, Commander Ralix watched silently, her amber eyes fixed on the human who had captivated her imagination. "Cade, this is the final trial," she said to her aides, her tail curling behind her in anticipation. "Test him against our best warriors. Let us see what humans are truly capable of." The aides hesitated. "Commander, these warriors are superior in every way. Cade could be seriously hurt." Ralix's gaze cut through them like a blade. "Do not underestimate him. Humans are unpredictable. That is why we are observing. And this is the moment I have been waiting for." Cade stepped into the arena, muscles tense, eyes scanning every detail. He had no weapons, no armor, only his body, his instincts, and his mind. His heart beat steadily, his breathing controlled. He had survived raiders, environmental hazards, and alien traps. This would be different, but he was ready. At the far end, 5 Zerathi warriors stepped forward. They were tall, strong, and deadly. Trained for combat since birth, they had never lost a match. Each one's muscles rippled under their silver scales, and their eyes gleamed with confidence. To them, Cade was just another species to be tested, a creature to be subdued. But Cade's eyes were calm. His mind raced, assessing the arena, the obstacles, and his opponents. Every movement of the Zerathi warriors was predictable, every pattern visible to him. He would use that knowledge, his instincts, and his body to survive. The first warrior lunged, aiming to strike with a precise blow. Cade sidestepped, twisting and using the momentum to send the attacker tumbling into a padded barrier. The second warrior advanced, swinging a wide arm strike. Cade ducked, rolled under and struck the warrior's legs, causing him to stumble. Ralix leaned forward, fascinated. Humans were supposed to be weak, fragile, and reliant on tools. Yet Cade moved with the precision and speed of a predator. Each strike, each dodge was flawless. The Zerathi warriors were strong, but Cade's unpredictability made him deadly. The remaining warriors attacked together, attempting to corner him. Cade jumped onto a raised platform, vaulted over a wall, and landed behind them. He twisted and rolled, striking the lead warrior with a well-placed elbow. Another warrior lunged, but Cade ducked and used his opponent's momentum to send him crashing into the arena wall. Ralix could hardly contain her excitement. She had trained warriors for decades. She had faced species that relied on speed, strength, or cunning. But humans were different. Their unpredictability, their raw instincts, and their courage made them impossible to fully anticipate. "Observe how he moves," she whispered to her aides. "Not just to fight, but to think. Humans are not just fighters. They are survival machines. Every instinct honed for life, every decision made in a fraction of a second, this is why they survive." Cade's movements were fluid, almost dance-like. He avoided every strike, countered with precision, and used the arena's obstacles to his advantage. He leaped from a pillar, grabbed a loose panel, and sent it spinning into two approaching warriors. They fell, momentarily stunned. The remaining warriors exchanged glances. They had trained for years. They were strong, disciplined, and deadly. Yet a single human had outmaneuvered them all. Ralix decided it was time to escalate the trial. She activated the arena's hazard systems, moving walls, swinging arms, and energy barriers designed to challenge even the most skilled fighter. Cade paused for a split second, analyzing the changes. His mind raced, predicting patterns and calculating movement. Humans thrived on improvisation, and he was about to prove it. The first hazard, a swinging mechanical arm, smashed toward him. Cade ducked under, rolled, and launched himself onto a raised platform. The energy barriers flickered to life, closing pathways. Cade jumped and twisted midair, landing safely behind a wall. A Zerathi warrior tried to block him, but Cade used the wall's momentum to pivot and send the warrior sprawling. Ralix's eyes gleamed. She had never seen anything like this. The human moved with an instinctive understanding of physics, timing, and strategy that no algorithm or training could teach. He was alive in every sense of the word, aware, adaptable, unstoppable. The final confrontation began. Only one Zerathi warrior remained, tall and imposing. He had trained for this moment, prepared to demonstrate the species' superiority. But Cade was ready. The warrior charged, fists swinging, claws aimed to strike. Cade sidestepped, grabbed a loose pipe, and swung it with perfect timing. The warrior staggered but recovered, eyes widening in surprise. Humans fought differently. They did not rely on brute strength alone. They used creativity, improvisation, and sheer willpower. Cade advanced, striking, dodging, and twisting. Each move was calculated, instinctive, and unpredictable. The warrior lunged again, but Cade ducked and delivered a precise strike to the torso. The warrior fell, defeated, not broken, but humbled by the human skill. Ralix stood, tail flicking in exhilaration. "He has done it," she whispered. "He has defeated the finest warriors of my species unarmed, without weapons, with nothing but instinct and skill. Humans are extraordinary." Her aides were silent, stunned. They had always believed in the superiority of Zerathi warriors, yet here was a single human standing victorious. Cade, breathing heavily, surveyed the arena. His body ached, but his mind was sharp. He had survived, adapted, and overcome. Every move, every instinct, every decision had been tested, and he had prevailed. Ralix approached him, stepping onto the arena floor. "You are remarkable," she said softly. "I have trained, studied, and faced countless species, but never one like you. Humans are not what we expected. You survive, you lead, you fight when others would flee. You are extraordinary." Cade's eyes met hers, calm and steady. "I didn't do it to impress you," he said. "I did it to survive. And if you think this proves anything, wait until you see what humans can do when they are truly free." Ralix's tail twitched with excitement. She had studied the human mind, observed their instincts, and tested their limits. Yet she felt she had only scratched the surface. There was much more within this species. That night Ralix returned to her private chamber, her mind racing. She had seen the unarmed fury of humanity, witnessed it, and marveled at it. Cade was not just a fighter. He was a leader, a survivor, and a force of nature. She wondered what humans could accomplish with weapons, with strategy, with allies. But even unarmed, they were capable of astonishing feats. And she knew the galaxy had underestimated them for too long. Meanwhile, Cade rested, but his mind was far from still. He had survived countless trials and learned much about the Zerathi, how they thought, how they fought, and how they underestimated him. Humans had always turned disadvantage into strength, and now, even in captivity, he was already planning his next move. Ralix watched from above, fascinated and conflicted. She had orders from her council to study and contain Cade, yet something inside her rebelled. This human was not a creature to be subdued. He was a warrior, a force that demanded respect. One thought echoed in her mind. Perhaps humans are the wild card of the galaxy and Cade is the proof. The trial was over, but the real challenge, the confrontation of minds, wills, and philosophies, was only beginning. And both human and alien knew that the outcome could change the galaxy forever. The research station hung silently above Dravik 9, its hull reflecting the pale light of a distant sun. Commander Ralix sat alone in her observation chamber, amber eyes fixed on the arena below where Cade now trained, stretching and preparing for the day. She had watched him for weeks, observing his resilience, his intelligence, and his unarmed fury. For the first time in her career, she faced a dilemma. Her council had ordered her to contain and study the human, yet every instinct told her that Cade was not a creature to be controlled. He was something greater, a force, a warrior, a symbol of humanity's untamed strength. Ralix rose and paced slowly. "The council sees humans as tools," she muttered, her tail flicking with tension. "But Cade, he is not a tool. He is alive, unpredictable, and brilliant. I cannot follow their orders blindly." Her aides entered cautiously. "Commander, the council will not allow deviation. You risk severe consequences." Ralix held up a hand. "I know what I risk, but I cannot ignore what I have seen. Humans are not just fighters. They are survivors, leaders, forces of nature, and Cade, he is the proof." She made her decision. Cade would not be contained. He would not be studied as a specimen. He would be free, but not without a plan. Below, Cade sensed the station stirring. He had spent weeks observing, learning, and understanding the Zerathi. He knew they were powerful, disciplined, and dangerous. Yet he also knew that humans thrived in impossible situations. His mind raced with possibilities. If he could turn observation into opportunity, he might escape, and perhaps gain an ally in the process. Ralix descended to the arena floor, her scales glinting in the soft light. Cade turned, muscles tense but ready. "Commander Ralix," he said cautiously, "you've been watching me a long time. I can only assume this is the part where I fight my way out." Ralix smiled, a rare softness in her expression. "No, Cade, I am not your enemy. I am," an observer who has learned too much to follow orders blindly. You are extraordinary. Humans are extraordinary, and I will not see you contained, harmed, or studied like a lab specimen. Cade's eyes narrowed, suspicion clear. You expect me to believe that, after everything? Ralix took a step closer. Believe what you will, but know this: I respect you, I admire you, and I want to see humans thrive, not be controlled. The choice is mine, and I choose to let you go. The aides hesitated, some angry, some fearful. Commander, you can't defy the council. Ralix's eyes hardened. Watch me. She activated the station's communication network, sending false reports of Cade's continued captivity and compliance. Then she moved swiftly, opening the hangar bay, readying a shuttle for his departure. Cade studied her movements. You're helping me escape? He asked, incredulous. Ralix nodded. Yes, but you must move quickly. The Council's response will be swift once they discover the deception. Humans are unpredictable, but I trust your instincts. You will survive this. Cade wasted no time. He followed Ralix through the corridors, navigating the station with careful precision. They passed observation decks, research labs, and sleeping quarters for the Zerathi personnel. Every step required timing, awareness, and quick thinking. Cade moved with the natural agility and instincts that had saved him countless times before. Finally, they reached the shuttle bay. Ralix interfaced with the controls, bypassing security protocols to open the airlock. Outside, the shuttle awaited, engines humming softly. Cade glanced at her, a mixture of gratitude and determination on his face. Why are you doing this? He asked quietly. Ralix met his gaze. Because humans are more than I ever imagined. You survive when others fail. You fight when others flee. You lead when others would follow blindly. And perhaps you can change the galaxy in ways I cannot predict. Cade nodded, understanding the weight of her words. Humans had always turned disadvantage into strength. They had always adapted and survived against impossible odds. And now, with Ralix's help, he had the chance to do so again. The shuttle lifted off, gliding through the station's bay and into open space. Cade piloted it carefully, keeping course low to avoid detection. Behind him, Ralix watched from the observation deck, her mind racing with possibilities. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but their unpredictability was not chaos. It was creativity, instinct, and willpower, and Cade embodied it perfectly. As the shuttle reached orbit, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. The Council had detected the breach. Fighters were scrambled, weapons locked, and the station's security systems activated. Cade's instincts kicked in. He maneuvered the shuttle through a series of sharp turns and evasive maneuvers, dodging energy blasts and automated defenses. Ralix's voice came through the comm system. Trust your instincts, Cade. Humans survive because you can think and act where others cannot. Use your skills, adapt, survive. And Cade did. Every twist of the shuttle, every evasive maneuver showcased the human advantage, unpredictability. He dove into asteroid fields, weaved between satellites, and used the environment itself to his advantage. Zerathi fighters, though technologically superior, struggled to predict his movements. Each action, each decision was instinct-driven, honed by countless experiences of survival on harsh worlds. Ralix followed the chase from the station, heart pounding with both fear and admiration. This was what she had hoped for, a demonstration of human potential in action, not through weapons, not through numbers, but through raw skill, instinct, and determination. After a tense pursuit, Cade finally broke through the station's outer defense grid. The Zerathi fighters were left behind, struggling to catch up. He piloted the shuttle toward a hidden human settlement on a nearby moon, a safe place to regroup. Ralix watched from above, her tail curling with a mixture of relief and excitement. He survived, she whispered, not because of tools, not because of weapons, but because he is human, and humans are extraordinary. She turned to her aides. Inform the council that the human remains in containment. She paused, a small smile forming. But know this, humans are not so easily controlled. They are the wild card of the galaxy, and Cade, he is the proof. On the moon, Cade landed the shuttle safely. He climbed out, muscles sore but heart racing. Humans had always faced impossible odds and survived. This was no different. And now, with knowledge gained from observation and the help of a Zirathi ally, he had the chance to influence events far beyond his world. Ralix remained aboard the station, watching him from orbit. She felt a strange mix of respect, admiration, and anticipation. Humans had proven themselves, once again, to be more than their size, technology, or numbers suggested. They had proven themselves through courage, instinct, and ingenuity. She whispered to herself, a thought she had repeated countless times. Humans are extraordinary, and Cade, he is the embodiment of that truth. In the following days, Cade organized the human settlement, teaching them tactics, survival techniques, and strategies to thrive. He inspired courage in others simply through example, demonstrating that humans could overcome even the most impossible odds. Meanwhile, Ralix continued her studies, not to control but to understand. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but their creativity, adaptability, and unarmed skill were unmatched. She began sharing her findings cautiously with other Zirathi leaders, planting the seeds of a new understanding. Perhaps humans were not to be feared, controlled, or underestimated. They were to be respected. Cade's story spread quietly across the galaxy, a tale of survival, skill, and raw, unarmed fury. Other species began to reconsider their assumptions about humanity. Humans had always survived, always adapted, always thrived. And now, with Cade as an example, the galaxy would see that humans were not just another species. They were something greater. One quiet night, Cade stood on the moon's surface, looking at the stars. He had faced impossible odds, survived alien warriors, and escaped captivity. But he knew this was only the beginning. Humans were extraordinary not because of weapons, not because of numbers, but because of courage, creativity, and instinct. Far above, Ralix watched silently from her station. She smiled softly. Humans had earned her respect, and she knew this was just the start. The galaxy would never forget the unarmed fury of a single human warrior named Cade, and neither would she. As the stars twinkled above, one truth remained clear. Humans were a force of nature, unpredictable, fearless, and unstoppable. And Cade had proven it beyond doubt.